Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. If you're listening on the podcast or watching, if you're watching on YouTube, I have another special guest today. He is Victor, also known as the Rookie Card Specialist. He has a YouTube channel where he talks about the history of the rookie card and other rookie card related topics, basically. I was really wanting to have him on to kind of give us a sort of a shortened history that he's talked about when it comes to the history of the rookie card in the hobby. But first of all, Victor, thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate you taking time to do this today.
No problem, Kurt. Thank you for having me on, man.
Absolutely. And so let's actually start with how you kind of got started doing your YouTube channel. Why was it that you wanted to kind of focus on the history of the rookie card, and what was it about the hobby in general that made you want to do this?
Yeah, it's I'll give you the shortened version as you said, but it really started in 2014 when I came back to the hobby. Um, I took about a 10-year hiatus when I came back, and so much had changed, and I was learning about the hobby, trying to get up to par with how things are going, and I go to eBay. I fired up the old eBay store, and wanted to do some shopping on certain players. But when I did my eBay search, I noticed that certain players had like 4 or 5 years worth of cards listed in the eBay listings, and all of them said rookie card. And I'm like, man, I know that I've been gone for a minute, but how in the world can somebody have 5 years worth of rookie cards? And so I did notice that some of the cards had an MLB RC logo on them, and that really intrigued my curiosity. And I dug into it and started doing research on it, and that just led me into this big rabbit hole, right? And
Mhm.
unfortunately, what I was finding out was there was a lot of confusion out there. There was still a lot of people that were coming back to the hobby that were in the same boat I was in. And there was just a lot of uncertainty and a lot of questions that we had, frustrations, I guess, at some point on how the rookie card had evolved. And that inspired me to just dig deeper. And as I started researching this more and more, I just had more and more questions. And it wasn't until somebody referred me on one of the blowout forums, they referred me to an old Beckett baseball magazine, October of 2005. And they said, read this, it'll explain it to you. Well, I took their recommendation and I bought the magazine. And when I read it, I was astonished at how it had changed. Apparently, back in 2005, the Players Association did a press release setting the expectations to the industry on rookie card rules going forward, on what their expectations were going to be, being that they were the legal authority. And that just really started, it just was like opened my eyes. And what I did was I started researching this, and I find out that nobody's really talked about this over the years. Nobody even understands what I'm talking about. So I created a website, truerookiecards.com, in 2016, and that became kind of my platform. I just started researching and writing articles, and that was just kind of like my sounding board, a way to chisel out this research that I was doing. Um, and it just all started to make sense to me, and I wanted to join YouTube. In 2020, I had to have ankle surgery, and I've been wanting for a long time to start a YouTube channel. And really, the website was not getting a lot of readership, and it's only because blogging is kind of an outdated form anymore, unfortunately. Um, so I says, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and start a YouTube channel on the topic, and that's what I did in 2020. And the response has been tremendous. The support that I've gotten over the years, and I do. There is some pushback, like like with anything, because what I am saying sometimes it's kind of hard to swallow, kind of hard to accept. But there's just certain things that have evolved, and unfortunately, the hobby has kind of forsaken certain traditions and certain guidelines, or even certain rules that the PA has established. We just kind of like, well, we don't agree, so we're just going to forget about that, and we're not going to follow that. And so I'm kind of bringing that stuff back to light, saying, hey guys, listen, this stuff is important, and perhaps we should kind of like reconsider, because the rookie card is getting a little bit out of control. When you have a player today that has 3,000 cards manufactured of them on in their rookie year, and what the hobby is trying to tell somebody is that they're all rookie cards. And I'm like, how is it that a player can have 3,000 plus rookie cards? It just doesn't make sense to me. But I have had my own, I guess, philosophy in all of that, where I love to follow the template that COMC has established years ago. And they basically divvy up their rookie cards into three categories. And that's pre-rookie card, which is where all your prospect cards fall into. Then you have your rookie card, which is the cards that were released in the year that they debuted into the league. Those I call true rookie cards. And then they also have a third category called rookie year. That's kind of like for all of your subsets and inserts, because traditionally subsets and inserts have never been considered rookie cards, not true rookie cards anyways. But I think a rookie year identifier fits absolutely perfectly. And that's kind of the way I like to filter the cards, so that it makes sense to me when I go shopping. When I go shopping, now I'm making informed decisions, and it just helps me overall. Hope that's a long-winded answer to one question, right?
No, no, no. I really appreciate that for sure. Yeah, and it is. It can actually be kind of complicated. It's something that you wouldn't think would be so complicated, but it really is. Especially when you get into baseball, it's a little different when it comes to basketball. Football, it's a lot easier to kind of know like the true rookie years for those type of sports, because generally those players that go into the league the first year in football and basketball generally are on the team and are playing, professional league minutes within their rookie year. So you don't have so many qualifiers like you do in baseball has
Right.
had over the years. But still, even in those sports, it can be a little complicated, and we'll talk more about some of those complications here in a little bit.
Mhm.
But I want to start by asking about the actual history, because the rookie card as a qualifier wasn't always a thing in the hobby. And people have been obviously collecting cards for a really long time, since the beginning of the 20th century on or whatever. But the concept of the rookie card really didn't come into play until, what was it, like the early 80s. So based on the research you did and what you talked about on your YouTube channel, can you kind of give a
Yeah.
shortened sort of history of how the rookie card actually became known in the hobby?
Yeah. Well, and pre 1980, there's not much written or said on the topic. And what I did is I went to I want to say it was the 2019 National, and my goal at the National was to interview certain dealers that have been in the industry for many many years, and I'm talking guys that have been uh, at the National from like day one. And I had the opportunity to interview six major dealers that have been doing the National for 40 years. And I, upon interviewing them, I kind of got a similar story between all of them. They were kind of like my eyewitnesses of how the rookie card started and how it evolved. And the general consensus between the six guys that I spoke to basically believe that it started around 1974, when Hank Aaron broke Babe Ruth's record. They believed that there was a certain uh, interest generated in the hobby for that card. And back then, it was considered their first card, right? It wasn't even
Yeah.
necessarily called a rookie card. But in 1974, interest generated for that Hank Aaron card. And they started, certain people started asking for this specific card. And they didn't want, if a dealer handed them a stack of Hank Aaron cards, they were specifically looking for the first card. And so uh, dealers started to pay attention to that, and they started to realize, hey, wait a minute here. There's something about this first card thing that's starting to generate a lot of interest. So then certain dealers started hopping on board too with the whole first card. And that system grew, or that momentum grew. And in 1976 with Pete Rose is when there was another big interest within the hobby for rookie cards. And it was at that point, they believe it transitioned from first card to rookie card. And that was, I would say, the Hank Aaron card was the spark, and the Pete Rose rookie in 1976 was the ignition. And the momentum and interest for rookie cards continued to grow year after year to about 1984 is when we had the rookie card boom. And that's when everything and everyone was completely interested in rookie cards. And that's how it kind of started and how it kind of evolved.
Yeah. And and now so much of the hobby market is predicated on the rookie card, or what should be considered the rookie card. But we've had certainly lots of disputes about what are actual true rookie cards for a lot of players, going back to the 1950s, even the 1930s, when you talk about Babe Ruth. So, what are your thoughts about true rookie cards as opposed to what are often labeled as extended rookie cards, or probably not even necessarily rookie cards, depending on certain factors, like a lot of times
Yeah, I think
locally did, or if they aren't pack pulled, things like that. Yeah.
yeah, I think Beckett Publications back in the 80s, they were kind of the industry leader, right? They were the voice of the hobby per se. And they established a set of guidelines and a system, and that's kind of what everybody went off of. And I've had the opportunity to speak to Dr. James Beckett about this, and his opinion on it was that he listened to what the hobby was wanting, and the hobby was wanting rookie card guidelines, and they were the ones to establish them. And what they did was they brought the rookie card forward, and they really helped evolved what a rookie card is throughout the 80s and 90s. However, it seems like every time we, as the hobby, solidified what a rookie card is, the manufacturing of the cards, they did something different, and they kind of twisted things to kind of, and it just caused more confusion or more uncertainty with the rookie card. It seemed like they were manufacturing cards earlier and earlier of players, and that had not been the norm within the hobby. For example, in 1993 they created Derek Jeter rookie cards, but Derek Jeter didn't debut until 1995. So he was 2 years into the minor leagues before he even came up. And they started getting earlier and earlier and putting prospects into sets, and some of these prospects never saw the light of day in pro ball. And so that just really brought about more frustration, and just the manufacturing and the gimmicks and the shenanigans, as I like to call them, just really muddied the waters, because the sentiment is that card manufacturers did not want the hobby to establish a rookie card guideline.
Yeah. Yeah. And once again, it kind of gets complicated too. Like, for instance, in basketball, where you had this boom of international players coming over and taking over as some of the most popular players in the NBA, but they would often have specifically international manufactured cards that were only available in the countries or regions where they came from. And then they'd come play in the NBA, and then they would get like their first Panini card, and that's considered the rookie card. But and so yeah, so this is true with even modern guys like Luka Doncic and Nikola Jokic, who have international cards like a year or two prior to them actually getting drafted into the NBA. But then you have like all these NBA cards and all these Panini cards that are considered their rookie cards and all these things. So I guess, yeah, it gets complicated. And I guess I guess as a hobbyist, you kind of have to make your own decision with what you are comfortable with in terms of what you think should be like not even necessarily a true rookie card, but something that should be marketed and sold at a premium because it's one of their first known cards to ever exist. In fact, this is what I think about a lot is like we almost would have been saved a lot of heartache if it wasn't labeled a rookie card. Perhaps if it would have just been labeled like a first appearance, like they do with comic books, something
Mhm.
along those lines, that it might have saved us a lot of heartache and a lot of a lot of debate or whatever back and forth about what should be considered a rookie card, what should be valued at a premium, and things like that. But you've seen complications like that over the years with basketball, baseball, all the sports. So what are your thoughts about like international cards for players like Luka Doncic versus his Panini cards, and why should international cards be considered valuable or not?
Yeah, I think they should. I mean, they're legit cards, right? But when we're dealing with rookie card guidelines within the North American market, which is the strongest market for cards in the world, one has to also take into consideration distribution methods. And if it's something that was distributed overseas, where the North American market never had an opportunity to purchase those cards or have access to them, that's and then you fall into the licensing issue. There's been strict licensing laws in the North American sports card market where cards have to be licensed by the league and the Players Association. And when you're dealing with international cards, you don't have that. Not to say that they don't have any value or interest, because that's not true. They definitely do. My position on them is that they are, their European rookie card or their Japanese rookie card, and then these over here are considered, I guess, like an American rookie card or North American rookie card. Um, but to combine them both and to say that the international one is better than the American one, or it's truer, or it should have more value than the North American card, it's traditionally the way it's not been done in the hobby. So I just think clear lines of clarity, right, is what I think is what we need. Not to discount one or the other, not to say that one is more valuable and the other is invaluable, but to draw lines of clarity so that we're a little bit more educated on the differences of the two.
Sure. So, in your opinion, the licensing is still a major part of what should be considered a rookie card. Yes.
Yes, it has always been pre 2006, before the PA takeover, and when the PA did take over in 2006, they definitely drew that line in the sand.
Okay. So let me ask you. So let me give you an example. So what about Michael Jordan, who has both a 1986 Fleer card that was licensed with the NBA and NBPA. He also has a 1984 Star card, even though the Star company was a small company, nowhere near as big as Topps or any of the big boys during that time period. But they technically did have a license with the NBA and NBPA, and that card is often labeled as his extended rookie card and not his true rookie card. So why is that the case?
Yeah, that's a great question, great example, right? Definitely, the 84 Star has gained in momentum, right, the last year or two. Um,
Mhm.
but I think, and I made a video on this one explaining this one, but I think it's more, if we take today's standards and we look back at 1984, I think that comparison is unfair, because what we should do is, there was tough decisions that had to be made in 1984 when we gave that card an XRC identifier. So I think we need to place ourselves in that era, that time frame, and understand what hobby publications and what the hobby was up against at that time. So we need to follow the guidelines at that time. And in 1984, distribution again was part of the equation. It was believed that cards had to be in pack form with national distribution. And those are the two fouls with 1984 Star. They did indeed have the license, but their distribution method was regional, and they did not come in pack form. They came in clear polyset team bags, team sets, and basically that those are the two factors for that 84 Star, in my opinion. Of course, many other people have their own opinion, but I'm looking at it more in the legal or logical sense at that time.
Okay. Yeah. And I personally don't agree with that. I personally think the star card should be considered his true rookie card. I don't understand, in my personal opinion, why the distribution method should have a say, or whether or not it was pack pulls should necessarily have a say in what should be considered the person's rookie card, especially if it is a licensed one that has like a licensed picture of him during his rookie season, all those things. I personally think it meets the standards of what should be a true rookie card, but I do understand different people in the hobby have different opinions. And that's the interesting thing, is that, I guess it just kind of depends on the type of hobbyist that you are, and
Mhm.
just maybe how long you've been in the hobby, that sort of formulates your opinion on the matter of what should be considered people's rookie cards. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. But and then I would ask this question: how is that fair to the people who have invested in the 1986 Fleer, or have grown up with the belief that the 86 Fleer is the true rookie card? And now we want to like rewrite history and untangle 40 plus years of hobby standard. That to me is kind of the danger in that. I think they're both great cards, and I think we should, if you can, own them both. I think that's really the clear cut answer. But
Yeah.
yeah, I do understand how today's hobbyist, right? Somebody who did not grow up through that era, somebody who maybe just got into this 10 or 20 years ago, I can see why they would, lean towards the 84, because it's more scarce, right? And that's kind of the attraction. Um, but again, it's one of them things where the danger in, because now we devalue the 86 because the hype has adopted the 84, and that's kind of the balance point there.
I suppose, but I also think that there's definitely room in the hobby for multiple iconic rookie cards. We've seen this in baseball, where even though we know technically the 52 tops Mantle and the 52 tops Willie Mays were not technically their first cards. They had cards obviously in 51 Bowman. People still kind of consider the tops one obviously their true rookie cards, or the value of those 52 tops are still often higher than 51 Bowman. And people can go back and forth and they have debates about which one's the true rookie card. But I don't think it necessarily devalues one over the other. I think in a tradition sense, people still kind of prefer the 52 tops, and they still value those a little bit more just because of the history of that set and of those cards. But I think there's room for both to be considered extremely valuable in those cases, correct?
Absolutely, absolutely, and it's more on the 52. To me, it's more misinterpretation, and it's because hobby publications for many years, that card was known as an FTC card, meaning first tops card, and
Hmm.
that kind of adopted. Okay, so if that's the first card. No, that's not what we were saying. We were saying that it's the first tops card, but it is not his rookie card. His rookie card has always been identified as the 51 Bowman. But yeah, no, I get it. I mean, the beauty of it, the scarcity of it is just it's a more eye appealing card. It really is, and it's always been, the first top set is huge too, right? But and then also, when Bowman kind of fizzled out in 1955 with the Topps takeover. So I mean, the Bowman brand was kind of tarnished in and of itself. So the interest naturally leaned towards the 52 tops. But if we're looking at it through a technical sense, then the 51 Bowman is the true rookie.
Yeah. But yeah, I think the love and passion 452 tops will never go away in this
Nope.
hobby. I think they'll
No.
always be there, and I
Yep.
think that's true. And I think that's true for a lot of sets. And I think 86 Fleer basketball has kind of getting in that category of like the love and passion for that set will always be there. And so I don't think you can take anything away from that Michael Jordan card in that particular set because no matter what, even if you don't think that's his true rookie card in a sense, but that will be his first like major card and to a
Mhm.
lot of people and in a
Sure.
set that everyone loves, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and I kind of think that's where a lot of the new collectors are starting to kind of maybe shift their mindset towards. And you brought it up in terms of what are the scarce cards, what are the cards that maybe 10 or 20 years are going to be more of a better investment for myself and things of that nature. But I also just think too that you're never going to wipe away the history of certain cards and certain sets like 52 tops and 86 Fleer and 33 Gaudy, and you can go on and on.
Hmm. Yeah.
So what else did you kind of come up with some of the history that you learned about the history of the rookie card that has interest you or just things that you wanted to make sure to bring up with your YouTube channel that have been a source of debate for many years that you were hoping to clarify, and did you clarify or not? Or there's still confusion out there beyond just the history of what was considered true rookie cards?
Well, it's really the history on how it evolved. We've already talked about that, but then the history of licensing. There's just so many people within the hobby, even veterans in the hobby, that had really no idea on the PA's um, press release of 2005 and how that has really changed the game on the ultra modern card today. I mean, it's really shocking how that to me has been like kept under wraps and just forgotten about. And my research has shown that um, you know that was a big deal for the rookie card. And in 2009, obviously, with the split up of card manufacturers, that was another big um, thing for the rookie card. And then the NBA lockout of 2011 2012 was also a big game changer for rookie cards. And then they ended up merging 2011 and 2012 cards. So in 2012 2013 we had two draft classes, right? Which
Right.
makes that unopened product of them years pretty expensive. But that caused a lot of confusion
Hmm.
within the hobby. Really muddied the waters of the rookie card. And then by 2017, we started putting rookie card identifier on inserts and subset cards, and that just really again muddied the waters all the more when it comes to the rookie card. And that's how come players have 3,000 cards, and they're all considered rookie cards. And the traditionalist or the Gen X generation is sitting back scratching their head like, wow, how in the heck can that happen? But it's happened. And my opinion is that card manufacturers, instead of looking to comply with the PAA guidelines, instead of looking to adopt the traditions established by the hobby, they opted to look for loopholes in what the PA established. And those loopholes, again, they twisted it and created this gray area where legally there's no play for the PA. I mean, they've kind of done quite the number to the rookie card here in the ultra modern era, and it doesn't seem to be getting any better. It just seems to be more and more it's confusing.
Yeah, absolutely. So, in your opinion, if you pull a Kaboom Trevor Lawrence, that should not be an actual rookie card, right?
In my opinion, no, it shouldn't. That's an insert card. And insert
Yeah.
cards historically have never, up until recently, I wouldn't mind removing that RC identifier with an RY identifier, with a rookie
Hmm.
year identifier, because that is more clear of what we're actually looking at. Now you're respecting, you know, hobby tradition, and you're respecting the guidelines that were established by the PA, and you're kind of setting the standard for future hobbyists. But now everything is RC.
Yeah, and I do kind of agree with that. It's like, inserts should just be inserts. They should just be their own thing, and certain subsets should just be their own thing. Like back in the day, you would have sticker cards, of course, and those aren't necessarily considered the true rookie cards of those players when those years came out. They're just considered a sticker set from that year, and they still have value to them because they still came out probably, during their first year or early year in the leagues or whatever.
Yep.
So yeah, why can't Kabooms and Downtowns and all those other things that are presently the insert cards that people are chasing just be their own thing, and they don't necessarily have to be considered in the same category as their base and parallel or base and refractor rookie cards, right?
Right. Right. Exactly.
Yeah. And I agree. Yeah, I do agree with that. And yeah, it does make it confusing, and I'm sure people the licensing deals that have happened over the years can be really confusing to try and understand. I mean, going back, of course, to even like the way Topps used to handle their licensing for the baseball products, back before people fought them in courts to say no, what you're doing should be considered illegal. It should be monopolizing because a lot of other companies couldn't even really produce baseball cards because of the type of stronghold that Topps had. So they
Yeah.
kind of broke that up so multiple companies could have licensing deals. And now it looks like we're going back to kind of a similar situation where Fanatics is going to try and cobble up all the licensing deals that they possibly can. So in a way, it might make things a little bit more clear in terms of identifying what should be true rookie cards and whatnot. But we may still have complications down the road because I'm sure there will be other companies that want to get in the game of creating cards and creating first year cards for people. And yeah, so what do you foresee kind of happening going forward with Fanatics and the hobby?
Yeah, I think we're going to see a slight improvement only because we're going to have fully licensed product, and we're going to be able to have full uniforms and the such, right? But I think if we don't do something about the inserts and the subsets, we're still going to have um, we're still going to have that issue. And I think it's more, the amount of cards that are considered rookie cards is where a lot of us are having issues with. Is so like today, a player has 3,000 cards and they're all rookie cards. If we properly clarify those, and I've done the homework on this, Kurt, where, okay, let's use Shohei Ohtani as an example because he's hot today, right? Shohei has 2,870 cards attributed to him, all of them rookie cards, right? But if we follow the guidelines and we chop this thing up, he only has a fraction of that. He only has actually less than 10% are actually true rookie cards. And I'm factoring in parallels. I have changed my stance. I do consider parallels rookie cards. But it's just when we remove the fluff, when we remove the subsets and the inserts, what we find is that he only has about 280 or less true rookie cards.
Yeah, and I think that would be nice. Like I think you hear a lot from people of like it's just so overwhelming to keep track of all the cards out there and all the different types of base cards, subsets, parallel cards, and trying to figure out what is the rookie card I should go buy of a certain player. Like I want to
Right.
go buy Shea Otani. I want to go buy a John Morant or Luka Doncic, or I want to buy the upcoming Victor Wembanyama that is about to come into the league, and a lot of people are really high on him, and they want to go buy what they think is going to be considered one of his best rookie cards. It can be overwhelming for a lot of people, and I think that can be discouraging for people to stay in the hobby, which is kind of sad. And I hear a lot from a lot of people. It's like, it used to just be you knew to go get their Topps card or maybe the Upper Deck card when Upper Deck came around, and that was it. You knew that's exactly what you needed to get, and that's all you needed to get. You were good.
Right.
Nowadays, it's not like that. It's more complicated, And yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what the future holds and what Fanatics will do in particular with a lot of these products and a lot of these sports. I don't know. Well, what are your overall thoughts about, what are when people are saying things are overwhelming right now when it comes to figuring out what should be the rookie card I can go after? Do you have any advice for them necessarily?
Yeah, that's really research is key. But really research what you're generally interested in. Follow your taste on what you typically like. And if you like inserts rather than base set rookie cards, then just follow and go ahead and get inserts. That's not really um, you know getting the right one is kind of subjective. It's kind of up to individual taste and that sort of thing. um, it's one of them things where and it's something that I'm working on behind the scenes that I haven't really shared with anybody, but I am working on something for that. I'm working like on a database for that kind of thing. But key rookie cards, it to me is kind of subjective. I don't know. I need a list, and I need to be able to decipher which one is true, which one is a rookie year, and then if I gather up the list of true rookie cards, well, now I can look at each individual one and see what appeals to me. If that's if you're looking at it through the eyes of a hobbyist. Now, if you're looking at it through the eyes of an investor, then you want to lean towards where the money's leaning to, right? You want to lean towards the hype, whichever rookie card the hobby has clung on to, or investors have clung on to. That's what you want to go by. So it all depends on, number one, subjectivity, and what your long-term agenda is for that card. So
Yep, absolutely. All right. Well, I think it's a good point to kind of end the interview. But was there anything else you want to make sure to mention? Obviously, if you haven't followed Victor yet, go find his YouTube channel at Rookie Card Specialist. He has, like I said, a lot of videos on multiple topics about the debate about certain rookie cards and the history of the rookie card in general. But yeah, was there anything else you want to make sure to mention, or anything else you've got coming up that you want people to know about?
no, I basically, I got, my YouTube channel. I will be releasing a book at first quarter of 2024. I am writing a book on the topic and hope to have that one out by then. And give me a follow on Instagram, Twitter, or YouTube at true_RCS will lead you to all of my socials.
Well, that's awesome. Really excited to hear that you got that book coming out. I can't wait to see that. Hopefully, will that be, you think, most likely available on Amazon or other places?
That's my game plan. Yeah, through Amazon. Yeah.
Awesome. And you going to go to National this year?
Oh, absolutely.
All right, there you go. If you go to National too, be sure to find Victor and talk him up about the history of rookie cards. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Talk me off
uh,
the ledge.
yeah, no, no, absolutely not. Well, no, man. Thank you so much, like I said, for taking time to come on today. It's a real pleasure talking to you, and yeah, thank you so much for all the research and contribution you made with your YouTube channel to educate people a little bit more about the history of the rookie card. I think it's a fascinating topic. So thank you for all the work that you've done on it.
Thank you, Kurt.